It's going to allow businesses to scale. It's not going to replace all people. It's going to allow businesses to scale to where instead of needing 10 people in the contact center, well, you can scale and keep those 10 people instead of adding 10 more, right? And it's going to help people be more efficient.
This episode is brought to you by my friend Silas Lagoy over at ForgeMark Wealth. If you're a high-income business owner or professional and feel like you're getting crushed by taxes, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. ForgeMark Wealth specializes in advanced legal tax strategies and wealth planning designed to help you keep more of what you make, grow it efficiently, and actually build long-term freedom, not just income. If you're making serious money but don't have a real strategy behind it yet, I highly recommend connecting with Silas and his team. What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by ExitWise. If you're a business owner thinking about selling your company, whether that's now or years down the road, you need to know what your business is actually worth and how to maximize that exit. That's exactly what ExitWise does. They help you prepare, position, and ultimately sell your business by assembling a world-class team of M&A experts around you, guiding you from valuation all the way through closing. If you want to know what your business is really worth and how to increase that number before you sell, go check out exitwise.com and get ahead of it. This episode is brought to you by Blue Collar Business Advisors. If you're running an HVAC, plumbing, electrical, or landscaping, or any other type of home service business and wondering where all the money is going despite growing your revenue, you need to talk to Paul Maskill. Paul has scaled and sold multiple blue-collar businesses and now helps business owners improve cash flow, profitability, and financial clarity through outsourced CFO services. His clients gain a better understanding of their numbers, build predictable profits, and create a business that supports the life they actually want. One of the things I appreciate most about Paul is he's not just a finance guy. He's been in the trenches as an owner. He understands the challenges of running blue-collar businesses because he's done it himself. If you're doing a few $1 million a year in revenue and want to stop guessing at your numbers and start building real wealth, head over to bluecollaradvisors.com. That's thebluecollaradvisors.com and schedule a discovery call with Paul and his team. Blue Collar Business Advisors, helping blue-collar business owners build financially healthy companies and achieve permanent profitability. This episode is brought to you by Corberry Digital. If you own an HVAC, plumbing, electrical, roofing, or home service business and you're tired of wondering where your next lead is coming from, you need to check out Corberry Digital. Corberry specializes exclusively in helping home service companies dominate their local markets through SEO, Google Ads, local service ads, websites, content marketing, and lead generation systems that actually produce a measurable ROI. Their team doesn't just focus on clicks and impressions. They help contractors lower customer acquisition costs, increase qualified leads, and build a marketing engine that scales. What I like about Corberry is they understand the blue-collar space. They aren't trying to be everything to everyone. Their entire focus is helping trades businesses win in their backyard and generate more profitable jobs. If you're looking to grow your business, improve your online visibility, and build a marketing system that works, visit Corberry.com and schedule a strategy session with their team. That's Corberry.com. Tell them you heard about them on the podcast. This episode is brought to you by 10X Nerds. If you're a business owner doing real revenue, there's a good chance you're overpaying in areas you haven't even looked at. Things like credit card processing, insurance, telecom, and more. 10X Nerds comes in, audits your expenses across 30 plus categories, and finds immediate savings. And here's the kicker. They only get paid if they save you money. It's a complete no-brainer. If you want to keep more of what you make, go check them out at 10xnerds.com. This episode is brought to you by Rakowski Law Firm. If you're a business owner or have built a level of wealth, but you don't have your estate plan dialed in, you're exposed. Rakowski Law Firm helps families and business owners protect their assets, avoid probate, and make sure everything transfers exactly how it should. This isn't just paperwork. It's a real strategy to protect your legacy. If you haven't looked at your plan in a while or don't have one, go to rakowskilawfirm.com. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Big Hitters and the Builders Bible podcast. I'm joined by Patrick Summers, who has his own podcast, the Tradepreneur. I have to say that correctly. Tradepreneur Show. He's got a professional studio set up here, so I'm excited to pick his brain on some of the people he's had on the show. And then he is now president and CEO of General Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Patrick, you were just mentioning that you bought that business back in 2018. What's your kind of background and story with the trades?
Well, I guess I got into the trades when I was in high school, landscaping. and I was a landscape foreman. And then my buddy of mine, his father had F.J. Hess and Sons plumbing company. They started out of a Volkswagen pickup truck. And if I got suspended from school or there were snow days or whatever, I would go work for them, which was pretty much digging ditches or, being a gopher. That said, then I got totally out of it. I did a bunch of different things and ended up, ironically, I don't know how I ended up in dry cleaning. I had a dry cleaners and I basically went to work for wages. But what I discovered is I liked fixing the equipment when it broke. And you had to. It's almost like having a farm, right? You gotta learn how to work on your own stuff, because bringing somebody in from Los Angeles, it was $250 back in the day just to get there. And so I befriended a guy who sold and serviced equipment, and he sent me to some service schools, et cetera, et cetera. 2008 hit. You ever want to know how the economy's doing? Go ask your dry cleaner, because I noticed that people were coming to the cleaners that used to come several times a week. Were now coming once a week, once every other week. They had less clothes than they would bring before. They were doing more at home, and they used to be in real estate. Now they were waiting tables. So I knew something was up. So I ended up being able to sell my cleaners and sell it for just enough to pay all my debt on it. But I started going to school at night for HVAC, basically, the refrigeration aspect of it, because dry cleaning equipment has refrigeration units on it. And I was going to school thinking I was going to get into service and sales of dry cleaning equipment. Well, long story short, I ended up answering an ad on Craigslist for an entry-level maintenance technician at General Air Conditioning. And I took the job for $10 an hour. But when I walked in the door, I had written on a piece of paper that in 5 years' time, which was how much experience I needed to get my contractor's license, I was going to start my own business, never knowing I was going to actually buy the business that first employed me.
Well, and then what's the story of General? How did you wind up purchasing that business, and where's it at today?
So Frank Harrison, the founder, he had a company in we call the Inland Empire, out closer to LA, and he did a lot of track work, custom homes and things like that. And he would sell his warranty work to this company called General Air Conditioning, which was like general contractor, right? And he ended up buying the business and just grew it. When I came on board, we were at about 6.5 million a year. We're on track to close out this year at about 20 million. But, my dad taught me a lesson early and he said, listen, when you go to work for somebody, you make an agreement, and the agreement is they're going to pay you X amount of dollars, and you're going to give them 110% of your ability. You're always going to give more than they give you. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, if you don't like that, then leave the place. But that's what you're going to do, and show up every day like you own the business, which is what I did. And I've done that for all my jobs throughout the years. And sometimes you get used and abused, but I finally came across Frank Harrison at General Air Conditioning, and he noticed and promoted me into service manager, which is funny because I had very little experience in HVAC service. I was new to the industry, but I knew people and I knew management and I knew leadership. And then I became ops manager, general manager. And then he came to me and my business partner, Francisco Rodriguez, who was a comfort advisor. Well, he basically has done everything in this business, but he came to both of us and said, hey, I want to retire when I'm 75. And I'd like you guys to buy the business. Are you interested? Yeah, of course we're interested. And so that was a plan. We set up a succession plan and everything like that. And then April 2018, we closed on the deal. And so it's been, I think, 8 years this past April.
Where is the business at now in terms of overall sales or revenue or whatever you feel comfortable sharing?
Yeah. So like I said, I think When I started, we were like 6.5 million. We finished out last year at a little over 17, and we're on track right now. We should, God willing, we stay on track. We should be able to close out the year at 20.
That's insane. What is it all residential, or you're doing some commercial as well?
Yeah, I would say it's 95%, 97% residential. We do a little bit of a light commercial on the HVAC side, very little. We do more commercial on the plumbing side, but yeah, it's almost all residential service and replacement. And the amazing thing is, we're in the Coachella Valley. Coachella Valley is like I call it like it's like an island, a reversed island. We're
Well,
surrounded by
that's good to know. So
valley.
now that I know that, my parents probably need your help. They're out in Palm Springs, so you probably could help
Oh,
with them.
really?
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to live. But we're about, so you're familiar with the area. We're like 11 miles wide, maybe 33 miles long. And in the season, which just ended for us, we get a lot of the Canadians and people from the Midwest. We go over to 1 million people in population. Now, this time of year, we're down to probably 300,000.
Yeah.
So wild swings in the population. The growth in this, it's just, man, organic growth is just, it's the long route.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those 300,000 people that are still there, I mean, it's insanely hot. So I'm assuming, like, are a lot of houses, do they have two, like, full-time units that are running, or what's that normally look like?
Yeah, it gets hot. We get to about 120. In fact, March, we actually hit a record for March. We hit 116. We had an early heat wave, and it's good for business when that hits, when the Canadians are still here. But most homes, a lot of the homes here have two or more systems. A few homes have one system, but we have a lot of systems with or a lot of homes with two systems. We actually have a home on our club membership that I believe they got like 10 systems. Some big homes here, some real big homes.
What's going really well with your business, and what are some challenges that you guys are facing?
So what's going really well? I will tell you what's going really well is me getting out of the way of my leadership team. I've really been focused on trying to build the right leadership team, and I finally got a general manager in place, and I love operations, and I think I'm pretty good at operations. Other people may disagree, but I'm good at it. I enjoy it. And, as a business owner, you always have the best ways, right? And so really what's going well is me staying out of the way and being more of a guider or a mentor or whatever. I've gotten to a place where, all right, this is where we're going on the map, and this is why we got to go there. You guys drive the vehicle. And so putting a good leadership team in place has been going really well for us. And I think it's the most important thing that me as a business owner can do to scale this business. Challenges was the other question. Challenges.
Yeah.
Man, business challenges. In California, a lot of regulation. The government sucks, to just be blunt about it, with regulation. And so there's challenges there. I mean, look, think about it. We got about 45 trucks, and we have to use a specially blended fuel in California. I think we're about $6 a gallon right now. And that hits hard on a business. So, but overall, those are just things, they come and go. You just deal with them, right? I've taken this approach, and it's helped me sleep a lot better at night. That business is a game. And if I look at it as a game, and it's who plays the game the best wins. Man, there was great power that came to me when I got this approach to life. And I remember talking to my wife. I said, look, if I lose everything tomorrow, and I don't lose you and I don't lose the kids, but everything else, I'm fine. I'll just start over. We'll start over.
Yeah.
And when you have that belief system, it's incredibly powerful. But challenges are just, I think that probably other than the regulations and the typical stuff that we deal with in California, um, alignment, making sure the team's aligned and keeping them aligned. It's like when we're aligned, we have phenomenal days.
Yeah.
And we focus on the day, we focus on alignment, we're great, but it's so easy to get out of alignment. That is one of the challenges is making sure we keep the team aligned.
Yeah.
I'm making sure that the team stays aligned, they stay aligned. So
Yeah.
that would probably be my biggest challenge because it's a day in, day out. You can't rest on that.
Yeah. I wish I could fix the government problem. I have no solutions for that. I often think about moving to a red state. I'm not going to lie. I'm in Colorado, and it's by and large outside of Denver is, people are more conservative, but the government is all out of Denver. So it's liberal. I mean, landlords are leaving, we're losing businesses, but nowhere near on the scale of California.
Yeah, and that's and not to go political, but it's sad because Colorado is a beautiful state. California
Yeah.
is a beautiful state.
Yeah.
And man, so I'm originally from Philadelphia, and I used to think, man, what a bunch of crazy people in California. Their houses burn down, they slide down mountains.
Yeah.
They got flooding, they got all this stuff. Why do people? And then they go build another house there, and then when you come to California, you're like, oh, now I know why.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. But yeah, anyways.
How are you guys integrating AI into your business?
Oh man, AI is big. Obviously, we're using it in the call center, overflow calls. We're actually still training the AI agent, but we're using it there.
Out of curiosity, Patrick, which AI agent do you use? I know there's a couple that are really popular with HVAC companies.
Yeah, we're using Lace.
Okay.
Lace, yeah. And they've been good to work with. I'm actually talking to somebody, an independent guy, and I've been talking to him for a while, where he'll actually build our own customized AI agent. So, and the voice was blown. Like, I thought Lace was really good. Lace is really good. I listened to this guy's AI agent do inbound and outbound calls. My call center manager, she said that's human. That's not AI. That's human. It's too good to not be human. And it's amazing. But I use AI every day, and I use Claude, Gemini, Chat, Grok, and I sometimes ask all of them the same question to see what kind of responses I get, how much time it takes. But I build the budget every year, and it's usually a long, grueling process, a lot of historical data, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
This year I used AI. I think it took me an afternoon to pretty much get the budget done.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting now to see these large language models like Anthropic and OpenAI. They're actively going after different industries. So I think ChatGPT just came out with their own version of like a personal finance dashboard. So they're actively trying to replace what you might do with like a Rocket Money or a, Dave Ramsey has his thing. Like they're actively going after like different verticals like finance, mortgage. Like they're trying to consolidate everything into one fell swoop, which is kind of fascinating to see that movement.
Yeah, it's I look at AI, I tell the team, I think a lot of people are worried, like, is it going to replace me? And I said, only if you let it.
Yeah.
Right. So like I tell the team in the contact center, I said, listen, if you see we booked a call with an AI agent, I said, what you should do is call that customer after it's booked and just say, hey, I see you got a call booked. I just want to let you know that we are real and we are here. Thank you for using our AI agent. It helps with efficiency, but I just want to confirm you are scheduled. And, if there's ever anything I can do for you, please give me a call. My name is so-and-so. It's going to allow businesses to scale. It's not going to replace all people. It's going to allow businesses to scale to where instead of needing 10 people in the contact center, well, you can scale and keep those 10 people instead of adding 10 more. Right. And it's going to help people be more efficient. I'm really excited for it. To me, it's like the what do they call it? The industrial age or whatever, right? When, you used to have to go out and do a lot of stuff by hand, and then machines came along. Well, guess what? Yeah, sure, it replaced some of those jobs, but it also created new jobs. Now you need people to fix the
Yeah.
machines, work on the machines. So
Yeah.
it's an exciting time.
Yeah. Patrick, one trend I've noticed with blue collar guys, especially like pest control and roofing, I've seen a lot of overseas staffing, like using outsourced labor. Is that something you guys have ventured into as well?
You know, so I experimented with it. We're about an hour and a half from Mexico, and there's a company, and the guy was at a local chamber of commerce meeting, and I met with him, and I went down to Mexico. I checked out his center, and they could help us with the call center. And so they actually found somebody for us, and we started going down that road, and then the person just kind of disappeared. Uh, it was crazy. Meaning the company's like, she was going to see family. She hasn't come back, and it didn't really work out well. Um, so that's the extent of what I've tried. The overseas stuff, no, haven't, other than that little stint we tried in Mexico. Haven't messed with any of that, but I can see why people do it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It is interesting. Well, that's one of the things I do. And I love, so my mission in life is to create freedom. So anything that takes a business owner away from the two or three things that only he or she can do, like that's what I want to do. And I just think that between AI and like overseas staff, there's not a whole heck of a lot that you can't put on autopilot. But I think the challenge for a lot of blue collar guys is finding the techs, the $1 million producers, or the guys that can do the installs. And so if I can save money here, right, so I can make a better offer for this guy over here, like that to me seems like a slam dunk.
Yeah, I agree with that. And finding those guys is a challenge. They're out there, um, and I agree. Yeah, and I tell the team here constantly. I'm like, listen, every one of us in this office, including myself, only exists to support the team in the field.
Yeah.
Right? They're the ones that are generating the revenue. Those are the ones that make things happen. Yeah, we got to book the calls. Yeah, we gotta do payroll. We got to do all that stuff that happens. But we all exist to support them in the field, and the better you can make things for them, as long as they return an equivalent to you, then fantastic. That's what it's about.
Patrick, what's one thing we haven't talked about today that gets you fired up? I can tell you have a lot of things that you're passionate about. What's something we haven't talked about?
I will tell you, um, again, I just went to Canada. I spent 4 days in the woods. I went, met with the Anishinaabe, an indigenous nation up there, and they welcomed me to participate in a vision quest. 4 days in the woods, Canadian woods, no food, no water, um, by yourself, no phone. And for me, it was, I'm very much, you talk about sharpening the saw, the 7 habits of highly effective people. And I'm really good at most of those 7 habits, except the seventh one, sharpening the saw. And so this was my opportunity to sharpen the saw and disconnect, to reconnect, so to speak. And so I'm very passionate about my beliefs. Very passionate about my belief in God, my belief in the power of the universe and the world, and very passionate about our ability to solve a lot of our own problems. So, yeah, that's that's probably my thing that I could go on and on about things I'm passionate about, but that one's just kind of so recent.
Last thing, talk to me about the Tradepreneur Show. What's the vision of that show, and what topics do you cover?
So interesting. The Tradepreneur Show, I always wanted to do a podcast, and then I had the right people on the team that are like, all right, well, let's do it, Patrick. You want to do it? Let's do it. I was like, okay. And if I knew what I know now about podcasting, I would have picked a different name than the Tradepreneur Show. But
Mm-hmm.
I took trades and entrepreneur, obviously, and for ranking and search results, it's probably not the best title. but it works. And the original concept was to speak to people that are looking to get into the trades, mostly younger people. Want to pursue, where do I go? Do I have to go to college? Do I have to go to the military? What opportunities are there? Is there an opportunity in the trades, and how do you get into the trades? And it was kind of like I reflected back when I was a kid working for my buddy's dad when I had time to do plumbing and landscaping. I'm like, man, if there was more of a knowledge base of the opportunity that exists, I probably would have been in the trades much longer than I have been. So I thought, I'm going to do a podcast on that. And I did. And of course, it started looking at the data. A lot of the people that were tuning in were technicians trying to kind of level up, but also business owners. And I actually had a guy from the East Coast call me and said, "Hey, Patrick, I've used some of your episodes to train my guys on club memberships and lead turnovers and everything like that." I was like, wow, that was like a phenomenal compliment, right? So it kind of evolved now more into, how do you level up? How do you get better at what you're doing? If you're in a truck, how do you get out of a truck? And it's also I also share some of my personal health journeys. I was an athlete in high school, swam, ran, all that stuff, and then a wife and kids, and you get fat and happy when life is good, right? So I got up to 360 pounds, and I try and tie my shoes, I'd almost pass out. So I kind of share that whole journey, what I'm going through there. But that's kind of what it's about. It's fun. I enjoy it. What I and I'm sure you can relate. What I underestimated was the amount of work it takes to do a podcast. I truly underestimated what it takes.
I mean, it's work, but I also personally can't point to anything that has grown my business more, that has led to more of growth of my network. And then it's kind of funny to me. Like there was a roofer that I'd had on the show recently, and he was in Denver, and he was like, "Hey man, I'm coming to Denver. You want to grab lunch?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And like, he was kind of like excited to be like around me. And I'm like, what, and I'm like, I guess it's like, it builds this persona around you too. Like there's an authority that comes with it. And I'm like, dude, trust me, I'm just like normal guy, but once you start having some guests on the show, like Tommy Mello's been on the show and stuff like that, it's like, there's like real momentum behind it. So I can't point to anything that has been more impactful for growing the business,
It's, and I agree with that. It's wild, because I'm just like doing this podcast, and then I go to these industry events. I was literally walking out of a keynote that this one event industry had, and I'm walking out and I hear somebody call my name, and I turn around. I don't even know the guy. He's like, "Hey, I thought that was you. I love your podcast." Right. And it's kind of like, wow, it's you get those moments, and I'm just out here grinding like everybody else,
Yeah.
But I happen to do a podcast and share. But it does this whole persona type thing, like you mentioned. It just kind of evolves.
Yeah. Patrick, where can people go to learn more about you if they wanted to learn more about your business?
Well, here's what I tell people is, you can email me, patrick@callthegeneral.com. You can call me. And this is bold, but 760-250-2420. Now, my ringer's on silence, so the best thing to do is text me and say, "Hey, you got a moment for a phone call?" But or callthegeneral.com or thetradepreneurshow.com. I love talking to people, other business owners, technicians. I welcome anybody that wants to come tour our facility, because I learn as much when people come to learn from me. I learn probably more than they've learned from me from them.
I love that. Well, can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast. Guys, go look them up. Go look up the General. They're doing big things. Go check out the show. And can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast. Don't go anywhere, because I want to keep talking, but thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah. Thank you.